Speed. Action.
Hello, I'm Lito and I'm here with my guitar. I'm here to sing to you and help you learn so you can all go far, you can't go wrong with my songs, so sing along all day long. Welcome to my show, so sit back 'cause here we go.
My name is Lito White. I am 23 years old and I am a musician professionally. Currently, I am working on a children's show. This is my studio. We shoot shows Monday to Friday and they debut at 3. And we do a 1-hour live show every Saturday at 9 a.m. We record most of the shows throughout the day. And then we do the last song live, which is always fun. My friend Paul is in the back there. He runs the control booth.
Lito brought me on when he was originally hired for the show. I'm the technical director. I do everything from lighting, checking the audio levels, managing the crew. I do basically what the director should be doing.
See, what do I do? Well, I'm the director. I'm the producer. See, I own this fucking building. After I graduated college, I ran into some money. And I decided that, I wanted to get into broadcast. So I bought this apartment complex and I turned it into a TV studio. And we're the second largest production company in New Jersey. We have over 10 million viewers who watch Lito. It's a bunch of little kids that just eat this shit up.
I have to be here every day at 7 a.m. for rehearsals, makeup, such. It's not easy. I'm not a morning person at all. We get a lot of downtime, so I end up hanging out with Paul.
I've actually known Lito since high school. I used to work at this recording studio and I recorded some of his earlier stuff.
I grew up in Philadelphia. Lived there with my mom until I was about 17. That city, man, it doesn't get any better. And my mom, she did everything for me. She was a music teacher for like 30 years, and it's probably the reason I'm doing this now.
And your dad?
I never really knew him. He walked out on us when I was like 5, so. But my mom did more than enough for me. I mean, she had me reading sheet music by the time I was out of the crib. I played piano, saxophone, violin, trombone, you name it. I mean, when I was 10, my mom bought me a guitar, and well, that was it. I mean, I didn't put the thing down for like 30 days. By 12, I was playing Hendrix, Clapton, King, Robert Johnson, any sheet music I could find, I'd learn it. I started getting into punk rock a lot. Big fan of The Clash, Black Flag, Misfits. Huge fan of Dead Kennedys. Punk to me was just about the message and the music, like the idea in the song. It was bare, it was like raw, it was angry, it was awesome. Then in high school, I met these 2 kids, Dane and Dash. They were a little bit older than me, but they were huge punk fans too, and we just hit it off.
Yeah, we first met Lito when he played this show out in Philly. This was a 17-year-old, 5'2" little grunge kid playing folk punk with this old beat-up acoustic guitar, and it was pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, and it was around that time when we had graduated high school, and the band that we had been in kind of fizzled out. So we thought it was a good time to see if Lito wanted to, get together and do something.
We called ourselves Cunt Punch. I still couldn't tell you what it meant.
We tried to think of the most unsettling band name we could. Something that kind of showed who we were and what our music was. Kind of like a big middle finger to the establishment.
I would call it pretty much like getting a punch to the cunt.
It definitely helped our sound grow.
That band was the first actual success I've ever had with music. We wrote a few songs, we started playing shows in these churches for small crowds of people. And we ended up recording a few albums.
Lito's music and his style just transcended the terrible recording quality. His message just screamed to you, and it's probably the greatest thing I ever heard.
We started doing really well, and some of the bigger punk bands in the area started asking us to play with them.
We were playing with Agnostic Front, The Unseen, The Casualties, Choking Victim. I mean, we played this little show with Stiff Little Fingers. Literally, the biggest names in modern punk were knocking down our door to get to us. And we got our big break.
We were offered a record deal with Hellcat, and they had agreed to put out our next album.
Wow.
Hellcat brought me in to engineer and produce the record at this real upscale recording studio in Philly. We banged it out in like 2.5 weeks.
Hellcat had just heard it, and they went pretty crazy over it. Yeah, they were crazy enough to even offer us a spot on Warped Tour.
Warped Tour, man. Warped Tour is incredible. I was going to that show since I was like 13. I mean, that was my Woodstock. Pretty much justified everything I'd ever worked for.
We started that tour in June, and I think the whole summer we played close to 46, 47 shows. We had sold close to like 10,000 CDs, tons of t-shirts, a bunch of merch. Thanks to Warped Tour, I think that's what really kicked off our huge following. And while we were on tour, Lito had been, steadily writing new stuff. So it was kind of exciting when we got back to Philly. First thing we did was jump right back into the studio.
Lito called me up and said he wanted to record the new album. This was probably about 5 months after the last one. I was working at this independent recording studio I had started up with a friend of mine. Lito came in with about 11 songs he wrote, and from that, we made the Liberation of the United States of America.
And the CD was banned from pretty much every major retailer in the country. We had been writing songs protesting the war in Iraq, the DEA, World Trade, the World Bank, and our name was Cunt Punch. Especially that time, there was a lot of controversy going on in the media about what freedom of speech meant.
I mean, I guess what they say about any publicity being good publicity is true, because for all the public outcry and government intervention, I mean, we sold a good bit of records.
The album really was a masterpiece to begin with, and Hellcat did a great job of promoting it. They sold it through the website, they sold it through independent record stores. They actually sold 51,000 in the first week and premiered at number 16 on the Billboard 200.
And that was huge. No, I don't think there was a punk band since Ramones sold that many records. Yeah, and I don't mean to brag, but it pretty much turned us into overnight rock stars. Yeah, and Hellcat got us together with the Slackers, Dropkick Murphys, The Unseen, Rancid for the Punk's Dead tour.
Having Rancid open for us, man, I mean, that was unreal.
And it was right around that time when Lito started, drinking heavily, getting into a lot of stuff. And it wasn't a problem really at first, but then, it just progressively got worse and worse really fast.
10 days before we were supposed to go on tour, I got a call back home from my mom. She had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and it was terminal.
That really crushed Lito.
I pretty much had to watch her die.
For whatever reason, though, the band still decided to do the tour.
Dane and I had wanted to cancel the tour, but after Lito had talked to his mom, we kind of decided that it was best if he still did it. And Lito just started to get really depressed while we were on tour, and things just got really out of control.
Coke, Oxy, Molly, Xanax, any drug that was on the table. I would do anything just to forget about what happened.
6 weeks into the tour, Lito got a call about his mother. Her organs had failed, and she passed away.
See, I never really had too many friends, but my mom was always there for me. I mean, she was always proud of me, always supportive, no matter what I was doing. And when she left, I just couldn't find a reason for life to keep going.
And then, next thing we know, this roadie that we know turned Lito onto heroin.
The first time I ever shot up, I felt like heroin was designed for me. I mean, the rush, the euphoria, I mean, you can't explain it.
And Lito had been shooting up like 5 or 6 times a day. And he just started to fall apart, and it really started to affect the band. There's a lot of times he wouldn't even show up. And when he did show up, he'd shoot up right before we went on to play.
It just filled all the voids in my life.
And Lito just started to forget, on stage what songs we were playing, what lyrics went to what songs. He'd break off, go into some 10-minute long rants about nothing. So it was definitely trying times.
The band ended up getting kicked off the tour, and Hellcat dropped them from the label.
I was pretty messed up, man. I mean, heroin addiction, that's something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
We had just called a band meeting right after we got kicked off tour. Yeah, and of course, Lito showed up to it high.
They kicked me out of the band, and we went our separate ways.
Cut Punch actually disbanded about 6 months later, and Lito was pretty crushed by it. So he went on a personal journey to start his own solo career, which I think was just a spite dashing games, but definitely wasn't his best effort.
Well, at the time, I was listening to a lot of, like, electronic music.
You mean like techno?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, I was on a whole bunch of different drugs at the time, so what would I know? But I saw bands like Kraftwerk, Daft Punk, they were doing really well, so I thought, why not me?
Lito had made a good deal of money from Cut Punch, so he took it to buy some instruments and recording equipment to start his techno crap.
I called myself Electrogasm, and I spent the next 2 months alone working on the album.
Lito burned $96,000 on drugs and techno at that time, and after listening to the music, I think most of the money went to drugs.
Well, I was bankrupt at the end of it, but I did have the album finished, so.
The album was unlistenable, literally just noise.
I would bring the record into like labels and stuff with the hope to get signed, maybe make some money. But they would just laugh at me. That was tough. But luckily, I still had some friends in Philly, some connections, and I was able to book a show.
He was able to sell out the Electric Factory, and I was impressed. That's a pretty big venue. 3,000 people came out to see him, and I was one of them.
I really thought that if people could just hear me play, that they would realize that I was still around, that I was still talented, still relevant.
To this day, that's probably the single saddest thing I've ever seen.
People were walking out, booing me, throwing beer. Got pretty ugly.
The show was booked for 3 hours, but Lito didn't make it past 30 minutes before they pulled the plug.
After that, it really started to spiral downwards. I was broke and I got evicted. I sold my car, my equipment, my guitars, pretty much everything I had, just to keep supporting my drug habit. Well, I still had a guitar, so
Lito would play songs on the street and take the money and go buy heroin. He pretty much slept wherever he could.
That was a really dark time for me.
I would go see him every now and then, but it was tough seeing him like that. He was like a zombie.
You know what? It ended up working out for me. This is my girlfriend, Holly. What'd you get me?
Got your Taco Bell like you asked.
Aw, sweet. Why, thank you. Holly grabs me lunch and then heads over to the studio. And we hang out here till it's time to go home.
Lito met Holly when he was homeless. She was a waitress at this diner right by where he liked to play.
I saw her one day and she just smiled at me. I mean, pretty much woke me up. I mean, I stopped doing heroin, started saving some money up, and I asked her out.
It was incredible. He asked me out after work, and I knew he was the one.
3 weeks into the relationship, Lito moved in with Holly, and I think it was a great thing for him because he cleaned up his act, he quit the drugs, and he grew up. He started to get his shit together.
I went on detox for like a month, almost killed myself in the process. I didn't have money for a methadone clinic or anything, so I had to do it cold turkey, but it all worked out.
How can you eat that?
What do you mean? It's delicious.
It's loaded with trans fat, calories, and disgustingness.
Do you know how many calories you can burn by just not caring about it?
Shut up.
What?
Just eat.
Well, after I got clean, I still had to work, so I went back out on the streets with my guitar. I was making probably 150, 200 on a good day. Not bad for panhandling, I mean. Then I met Madsen.
So, there used to be this great titty bar called Perfections. And there was this girl named Trixie who would do anything for $20. I mean, anything for $20. Anyway, I'm on my way back and I see Lito on the corner. You know, I'm thinking, I just made my TV studio. At the time, I was making softcore pornos for Cinemax, you know, real low budget stuff, but high profit. And I had this really good idea for a children's show. And I see this guy in the corner, I'm like, gotcha.
Madsen asked me to come in and audition for the show. Apparently I did pretty well, because he offered me a job.
I hired a new crew, paid the kid pennies, put him in front of a green screen. The first episode aired 2 years ago, and it was a smash hit.
Since then, we have done shows all week, every week, and today we are actually doing our 500th episode, so pretty big deal.
I've taken the Lito franchise to whole new heights. We averaged 9.1 on the Nielsen ratings. Advertisers are killing themselves to get on my show.
It's been a huge success for me. I mean, we're the most popular children's show on TV. We reach millions of little kids every day.
None of this shit matters compared to my merchandising. Last year, I sold $352 million worth of useless Lito brand bullshit. Lito fucking t-shirts, Lito dolls, Lito underwear.
Last year they sold these little plastic guitars. They were a big Christmas seller.
Lito accordions, Lito knives, Lito forks, Lito spoons.
I do get a little bit of money out of it. Madsen owns the image and name from it, so he gets a good chunk.
Lito toothbrushes, Lito fucking pencils, Lito cell phones. Lito could fucking take on Hello Kitty any day.
I mean, yeah, I think it's a little commercial at times, but what do I know?
Too commercial? That's the dumbest shit I ever heard. I'll sell Lito brand tampons if these kids will buy them.
Are you happy with the show?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Lito's doing pretty good now. And, I mean, it's the last thing I could see him doing, but at least he's off the streets.
And is Holly, too.
Yeah, I guess that's good, too.
Well, if you're asking me if I can do this for the rest of my life, probably not. I mean, I have goals and ambitions outside of what the show is. Well, at the moment, I'm trying to actually get back into mainstream popular music.
Sort of like a solo career?
Yeah, kind of like a solo career, I guess. I've been doing some stuff with Paul. It's been going pretty good. It's nothing like I've actually done before.
Lito's solo stuff has been going really well. Sort of a Clapton meets Bowie kind of thing. Definitely more mature music.
I mean, I look back at some of the songs that have really influenced me, and I just think that's the most incredible thing in the world, to actually compose a song that changes a person, changes the world. I hope one day I can do it. Look, I'm really happy with where I am right now. I mean, 2 years ago, I was homeless. Now I'm making 6 figures a year. I own a house. I have a great girlfriend. In fact, Check this out. What do you think? Yeah. I am going to pop the question tonight. I've already cleared it with Holly's parents. I'm a little bit nervous. Yeah. But, you know what? She's the one. I know it.
30 minutes before we get into the live portion of the show, I like to run my last checks and make sure everything's going to be 100%.
Usually before I go on, I like to visit my girlfriend just for good luck. What the? What the hell?
Lito, just relax.
What are you talking about?
It's not what it seems.
You were blowing a PA.
Whatever, I'm not here to be lectured.
Can you give me a second? Sorry about that.
You gonna be okay, Lito?
I don't know. Probably. I know this. I've been through a lot of shit in my life. But I've never felt this defeated before.
Lito, you're on in 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
You sure you're gonna be able to do this, man?
Just keep your cameras rolling.
All right, Lito, on in 30 seconds.
I usually don't watch this show, but today's a pretty big day for me.
Okay, everyone, 10 seconds.
Well, kids, today's a very special day here on our show. Today's our 500th episode. Yeah. You know, looking back in the last 2 years, I realize all the stuff I've been saying to you, it's bullshit, frankly. So today I've prepared a very special song for you all, and I hope you enjoy it. Gather round now, children, take a seat and listen close. See, your lives are simply lies, you're being fed them through my show. So what we need to do, rise up, 'cause our world is just a mess.
Cut this asshole off right now.
So kids, why don't you go look around the house?
Yeah, get over to the
See what you
studio.
can find. Find
Get the
something
show
big.
off the air now.
I want you to go back to the TV. See, the TV, kids, TV's our enemy. So take whatever you found and smash the TV. Smash the TV, kids. Destroy it. Come on, kids, liberate yourselves. No, come on.
He said he's tired of working overtime and trouble's weighing on his mind in class. Said he'd like to pack his bags and run away and never look back. He said this life of mine's like doing time for crimes that I didn't commit. That if life is just a game, I'm on the losing team and I just wanna quit. And she said we could take this weekend, drive out past city limits, keep on driving just as far as we can go. And maybe when we get back, things will seem a little better. Things will work out in a way we couldn't know, a way we couldn't know. time, and struggles weighing on